What a great way to freaking start off this freaking pay-per-view. We had Austin and Shaw brawling in the backstage area before the show even started. We were literally about to cue up the intro for the show when freaking the camera caught them brawling. And now we're going to have this impromptu singles match between freaking these two brothers who now freaking can't stand the sight of even seeing each other. And I don't blame Shaw for being pissed off after what Austin did to him. And I just hope that Shaw kicks the ever-living crap out of his douchebag older brother. Austin's had this ass whooping coming for quite some time now, since he turned his back on freaking Shaw and decided that he didn't want to be a part of the tag team with him anymore. And as you can tell, Shaw is freaking hyped as all, and he's ready to whip his big brother's ass. Well, I don't know if he's like the bigger brother. No, I'm just saying that because Austin, bigger than Shaw and everything. And here comes the douchebag freaking brother of the two that turned his back on Shaw, even though he won that singles match he had with Ken Masters, which was surprising, or whoever it was that he faced recently. And now him and Shaw are feuding with each other because Austin apparently decided he all of a sudden didn't want to be in a tag team with his own brother anymore because he felt like he was holding him back. I don't know, Austin's got mental issues going on, I will never understand his reasoning for wanting to turn on his brother. Yes, they haven't had much success as a tag team, but they were literally one of the most popular tag teams, and I still get emails from fans complaining about how they miss them when these two were a tag team and everything, but I don't know, man. I just hope that Austin gets what he deserves in this match against Shaw, which is a first-class ass whooping, especially after all that shit he was saying before, and a recent episode of New Gen. Austin, you may come out like him, but you wish you were Triple H, and you never will be like him. And let's get this one-on-one match between these two brothers underway. And Shaw immediately with an armbar on Austin, and a backbreaker to Austin by Shaw. And Austin just punches him off, kicked him in section by Austin. Now Austin with an armbar on Shaw. As far as I've been told, this is just a normal straight-up one-on-one match, even though, like I said, the two of them just brawling in the backstage area before the show even started. But I don't know, I don't make up the rules. Suplex by Austin to Shaw. Austin just wailing away at Shaw, and Shaw blocked the punch down and go behind. Just slams his brother down. If you hear a fan, it's because it is hot as hell in this arena tonight. Suplex by Shaw. And now Shaw whipping Austin into the ropes. Back body drop to Austin by Shaw. Now, Shaw knocking his brother in the corner. Chop to the chest. Now, Austin sunset flip into a roll up, but I guess it didn't go for a pin. I don't know. They just ran right into each other. And again. Shaw just whiffing that punch there, headlock by Austin. And Austin just punches him down. And now Austin with a headlock and just punches him down again. Austin just wailing away at his brother, misses that punch. Misses that one, does Shaw. Bulldog by Austin. And Austin picking up his brother. And now Shaw with a headlock on Austin. Suplex by Shaw to Austin. Now it's Shaw just kicking him while he's down. Austin shoves him off. Just ran right into him. Flapjack by Shaw. Shaw just punching the back of his brother's head and just slamming him face into the ring. Really? And Austin just blocking the drop kick attempt. And elbow to the back. And another elbow. And he whiffed that elbow to the back there. And Austin with a kick and a punch at Shaw and an armbar. And just punches him down again. And actually nailed that elbow drop finally. And that one too. And they're just slamming the back of his head against the ring. Now Austin with a go behind on Shaw. Suplex to Shaw there. And the main event of the show is Ken Masters challenging Sephiroth for the world title. And I'm looking forward to that match. All I know is Ken has been. And Austin just knocking his brother down with that punch. He just punches him off. And a forearm to the face of Austin. Cover covers Shaw. One. Only one count. Kicked in midsection by Shaw. Oh god, no. Austin has Shaw up for a rolling fireman's carry. No, Austin dragging Shaw from the ropes. Going for a cover. 1, 2, and Shaw kicks out. Knee to the midsection by Shaw to Austin. And Austin tried to go for a closing, but Shaw blocked it. And just slams him down to Shaw after lifting him up. Now Shaw drags him from the ropes. And now Austin's back up. He's pissed. And a flapjack by freaking Shaw to Austin. Closing into the back of the head of Austin. Shaw, quit taunting and just stay on top of your brother. And Shaw and Austin are still going at it, and Shaw just beating the shit out of his brother. Whips Austin in the corner. And charges at him in the corner, and he just took out the ref on accident after Austin moved out of the way. This Doomfist who just threw Austin in a freaking chair and just cracked his own brother over the head with the freaking chair that Doomfist tossed to him. Oh god, not this shit again. 1, 2, and Austin gets the win. Win assist from that douchebag Doomfist. Fucking Christ, when the fuck was the last time we seen Doomfist? Fuck you assholes. No, jeez, it's bad enough he already won the match with an assist from Doomfist, but now Austin is putting the boots to his own brother, and Doomfist just slid in more chairs in the ring. Oh god, and they just concertoed Shaw. Fucking assholes. I don't know if this... And this is the YouTube title match that I'm sure Jordan Williams has been waiting for a long ass time, ever since he came back after being gone for a while, where he finally gets to get his hands on MVP and finally shut that arrogant son of a bitch up for good, hopefully. Because MVP has been running his mouth off for freaking weeks since Jordan came back, and how he thinks of himself so highly, and he thinks he's the greatest champion in this freaking roster, even though he's not even the world champion, just because he's beaten everybody he's challenged him for his title and everything. And he's just been talking all kinds of shit about Jordan, putting him down and underestimating him at every turn. Even after freaking Jordan beat his buddy Bobby Lashley from the Hurt Syndicate in AEW, he can still MVP still thinks less of Jordan. And tonight, MVP's hoping to prove that he was right the whole time and freaking bury Jordan. Knowing from my twins' experience in the AWF, I wish you luck with that MVP, because Jordan's one of the best wrestlers that's ever lived, and he's probably the greatest US champion that's ever existed. Video game form or real life, personally. And I'm honestly, if I had to root for one of these two guys in this match, it would be Jordan. So that we can finally get that YouTube title off of MVP and finally shut this arrogant son of a bitch up for good. But who the hell knows? Hopefully Bobby Lashley doesn't get involved, because I don't know if him and MVP are still like partners or whatever. And here comes the current and longest reigning US champion ever, and probably always will be in the AWF, Jordan motherfucking Williams. The dude who loves eating biscuits, and dude who freaking trashes on Randy Orton, even though one of his finishes is the RKO. And tonight, Jordan is hoping to prove once and for all that MVP has been wrong, and Jordan is better than him in every way possible. And honestly, like I said, I'm rooting for Jordan in this match, and I am confident that in his abilities to win this match. And Lord knows I know Jordan is confident in himself too. And there's a challenger who is hoping to finally put an end to MVP's reign of terror. Freaking shout out to AA Omega, by the way. Freaking with the YouTube title. And there's the arrogant son of a bitch that's been holding on to that YouTube title for months. Freaking MVP. And hopefully tonight, this reign will finally end. Hopefully. Because God forbid knows I cannot stand another month of this motherfucker freaking holding that belt. Please, do us all a favor, Jordan, and win this freaking thing, and finally put an end to this crap with MVP. And let's get this title match underway. I can't have a tag between the two. Sean McCarty's going to be happy about that. An MVP with a double throat chop, freaking, or whatever the hell it's called, and a drop toe hold by MVP. MVP is a wrestling veteran, probably be in the Hall of Fame at some point. And he works with AEW currently in real life. And Jordan with a drop kick to MVP in the corner. Now Jordan with punches and kicks there, knocking him in the corner. And kick knocking him down. And another drop kick to MVP in the corner. Now Jordan picking up MVP. Go behind by Jordan. Hurricane Rana by Jordan to MVP. And just a kick to the back of the head of MVP. An armbar by Jordan. Well, that's one way to take him down. Now Jordan picking up MVP again in a headlock. And MVP whipping Jordan in the corner. Boot to the face of Jordan there. Now MVP with a suplex to Jordan there. Jordan was on the offensive for a while. Jordan dodged that kick, whatever that was, by MVP. And headlock. Chin breaker, almost into a flatliner there. Go behind by Jordan. Russian leg sweep by Jordan. Arm drag by Jordan to MVP. Double knees to the face as well, taking down MVP. And now Jordan with a roundhouse kick to the head of MVP there and knock him down. I think MVP has a history of concussion, so that's not going to help it any. And now MVP whipping Jordan into the ropes to the outside. Now Jordan's back in the ring. And MVP whipping Jordan into the ropes again. Suplex by MVP. Just tossing Jordan across the ring. Colin elbow tab again between the two. MVP just with a flurry of punches there. And Jordan with a pair of kicks. And now MVP with a go behind on Jordan. Suplex again by MVP to Jordan. And MVP knocking Jordan against the ropes. And he gets dumped to the outside by Jordan. Now Jordan going to the outside after MVP. Now Jordan with headlock on MVP on the outside of the ring. Neckbreaker by Jordan and MVP. Drop kick to the back as well. And a shot to the back. And MVP getting set into the barricade by Jordan. Who was just beating the crap out of him while he's leaning up against the barricade. Now Jordan's back in the ring. The ref's up to a count of 6. Jordan, this is not the time to be taunting. You should know better by now. Another chop to the throat by MVP. And just a flurry of punches and another throat chop. Belly to belly suplex by MVP to Jordan. Punch to face. And another one. And one to the midsection. Another chop to the throat. German suplex by MVP to Jordan. An elbow drop to the back. For good measure. And Jordan blocks that punch. Into headlock. Drop kick by Jordan to MVP. Now Jordan with a running clothesline to MVP from a sitting position. And now Jordan with a headlock on MVP. And MVP blocking the drop kick there. And just stomping with his legs. And an elbow drop to the back. It just knocks him out of midair again. MVP does more punches there. And Jordan blocks the chop there. And a leaping knee by Jordan. Suplex by Jordan there. Oh, so he was going for a pin for a second. Running clothesline by Jordan again. Now Jordan with another suplex into a twisting neck breaker. Deep freeze neck breaker much? Spinning leg drop there by Jordan, and again, and he missed it the second time. Another double knees to the face of MVP, taking him down. As far as I know it, freaking Bobby Lashley, isn't in the arena, and MVP just knocking down Jordan with that punch into a clothesline, and Jordan just kicked him off. So I don't think Jordan has to worry about Bobby Lashley getting involved. And another suplex by MVP. An elbow drop to the chest of Jordan this time by MVP. Heel kick by Jordan. Go behind by MVP on Jordan. And Jordan blocking the drop kick attempt. Kicked him in section of MVP there. Headlock by Jordan. RKO by Jordan! Now Jordan drags him from the ropes. Going for a cover is Jordan. One! Only a one count. What the fuck? Heel kick again by Jordan. And now MVP's back up thanks to Jordan. And now Jordan with an armbar. Now going for an arm breaker. Make him humble! Make him tap! I didn't even get to say ask him. And Jordan with another armbar on submission on MVP. Actually, different submission this time. Ask him! Now MVP getting picked up by Jordan again. Oh god. And Jordan, what in the freaking backbreaker, don't neck breaker, whatever the hell that was by Jordan there. And a leg snap by Jordan, the freaking MVP. Or whatever the hell that was. That's freaking one way to get some shit done to your back. And now MVP with a flurry of punches, another chop to the throat. And MVP just beating the crap out of Jordan, just knocking him in the corner. And Jordan just kicks him off. And MVP blocking that kick there. Trips him up. And Jordan just kicked him off again. MVP with another punch to Jordan and a headlock. Whoops him into the ropes. Suplex by MVP to Jordan. Oh god. MVP setting up for that freaking stupid elbow that he likes to use. And MVP with the balling elbow drop. Now MVP going for cover. One. Only a one count. Jordan kicked out. Oh god. And now MVP with the playmaker to Jordan. Going for cover. One. Two. And Jordan kicks out again. Jordan's like, I ain't freaking letting you pin me off that shitty move. Knee to the face of Jordan by MVP. And just a kick to the shin there. Another thigh. An elbow to the back of the head of Jordan by MVP. Nice freaking drop to hold by MVP there. And Jordan just punches him off. And try to go for something. And MVP blocking that kick. Trips him up. And a kick to the leg of Jordan by MVP. He's like, you want to keep kicking me? Freaking fine. I'm going to go start working on your legs now. And Jordan just no-sold that punch there and whoops him in the corner. Oh god. And Jordan setting MVP on the top turnbuckle. Oh god. And Jordan with a hurricane run to MVP from the top turnbuckle. And another double knees to the face of MVP by Jordan. And now Jordan with another one of these weird freaking neck breakers MVP. Jordan is just running around the fucking ring. I don't know what the fuck that was about. And now Jordan just whips MVP in the corner after kicking him in the thigh again. And now sets him on the top turnbuckle again. And another hurricane rana from the top turnbuckle to MVP by Jordan. Oh god. And now Jordan with a twisting neck breaker from the suplex by Jordan there. And another MVP dot reverse whatever he tried to go for there into a freaking neck breaker to Jordan. And MVP gets punched in the midsection by Jordan. Go behind by Jordan is there. Freaking roll up by Jordan off the Hurricane Rana. And MVP reversed into a roll up zone and rope break. Go behind by MVP into a headlock on Jordan. And Jordan with a drop toe hold the MVP. Oh god. Now Jordan going to top turnbuckle. MVP cuts him off. Oh god. And MVP with a punch to the face of Jordan. Oh Jesus. And MVP with a superplex to Jordan from the top turnbuckle. And now MVP go for a cover. 1, 2, and Jordan kicks out again. And MVP whips Jordan in the ropes. And double knees the face of MVP by Jordan. Go for a cover, Jordan. 1, only a 1 count. Headlock by Jordan. Flips him over. Kicked in the lower back of MVP by Jordan. And Jordan with another running clothesline MVP. Heel kick by Jordan there, knocking MVP down. RKO by Jordan! Going for coverage, Jordan. 1, 2, and MVP kicks out again? Are you fucking serious? Headlock by Jordan. Whips him into a leaping knee. And Jordan springboard, and he nailed it. And Jordan with a flat line into MVP as well. Now Jordan with another twisting neck breaker. And now Jordan going to the top rope. 450! Go for cover. 1, 2, and Jordan wins the YouTube title. Jesus Christ. Fucking Christ almighty. Freaking, if you guys can't tell, freaking out. Let's get this freaking match, I swear. Freaking, if this was a real life match, fourth wall break, freaking, if this match needed 5 stars from Meltzer, freaking, for that whole sequence just alone. Holy freaking shiznits. But freaking Jordan pulled off the win after finally nailing the 450 that he uses as finisher, and he's now the new YouTube champion. Freaking Christ, man. I am so freaking happy for Jordan right now. He finally can shut MVP's mouth up for good after this win, and MVP no longer can run his mouth about him. And Jordan is holding a title in Lone Wolf Wrestling. Whoever would have freaking thought? And the next match is the hardcore title match between Eli Manning and the current AOT2 champion, Lucario. Also look forward to Dominion, the first pay-per-view for AOT2 Wrestling, April 9th. Just a little bit of a plug here for my own show. Either way. And this is the freaking hardcore title match where Eli Manning is defending his title against Lucario, the current AOT2 champion. And after that freaking YouTube title match, which was freaking insane, this match is probably going to be just as insane. Hopefully, freaking, because that finish, man, that freaking match was just epic and probably will be known as one of the best matches that this show has ever done. And here comes the current hardcore champion of New Gen, freaking Eli Manning. Surprisingly, we haven't seen LeBron James around with him in quite some time. I don't know where LeBron's been. Probably been busy playing basketball or something. Or filming another crappy Space Jam movie. Hey-o! But I don't know. And for some reason, the camera was just cut off by a freaking fan sign. Somebody tell that guy to get out of here with that sign and stop blocking the camera. I get it, seats in this arena are kind of expensive, but freaking, we don't charge anywhere near as much as a real-life freaking wrestling company. I mean, come on! Anyway, I'm kind of torn on who to root for in this match, because Manning, this is his first ever championship he's ever held in his wrestling career, because he never got to hold one in the Mag Nation. And Lucario is one of my favorite Pokemon in the series, and he's also the guy freaking that I honestly am rooting for the most in this match, because like I say, he's one of my favorite Pokemon, and he's one of the biggest surprises his debuts that this company has ever had. It's hard to believe we're having a crossover with freaking the other show. And Manning, you're in for one hell of a test against this guy, because there's a reason why he's the AOT2 champion. And freaking shameless plug, AOT2 Dominion will be happening on April 9th. Look forward to that pay-per-view. I have to see if the current champion of the show can win himself a second title by winning the Hardcore Championship of this company, which would be freaking insane if he manages to pull that off. And as you can tell, Lucario is determined. And he's ready to fight. As is probably Eli Manning. And there's the challenger. Freaking Lucario. Which is probably weird for him, considering he's been a world champion in the other company. But he's a challenger for a title either way. And there's the current hardcore champion, Eli Mother Effin' Manning. Who, for some reason, ever since he's showed up here, he's been coming out in his old New York Giants attire, just like he did in the Mag Nation, even though he's doesn't even play football anymore. And there's the title that they're competing for, the New Gen Hardcore title. And let's get this match underway. And as typical of these hardcore title matches, the match is Extreme Rules, pinfall submission for finish. And Lucario with a kick to the back of Manning and a shot to the back of Manning. Lucario just wailing away at Eli Manning there in an armbar. And now Eli Manning with a shoulder tackle to Lucario. And now Lucario with a headlock on Manning. Headlock takeover. And now Lucario with a go behind. Whoops him into an uppercut. Now Lucario with a headlock on Manning. Suplex to Eli Manning by Lucario. Kick to midsection. And Eli Manning blocking that punch. An armbar by Manning. And Manning whipping Lucario up, and Lucario reversing into a chin breaker. And an elbow drop, which he missed, kinda. Arm drag by Lucario to Eli Manning. And there's a pair of punches there. And a drop kick sending Eli Manning to the outside by Lucario. And then Manning with a shot to the back of the head of Lucario. And sends him back in the ring. Somebody has a guitar and freaking the crowd. Freaking Jeff Jarrett much. And now Manning is just running around the ring and he's reaching for a weapon underneath the ring. Lucario is wandering around the ring too. And now Manning has a kendo stick. Oh god. And now Manning's back on the outside while Lucario was just waiting for him. And he got kicked in the midsection, knocking the kendo stick out of Manning's hands. And Lucario getting sent back in the ring. And now Lucario is back up. And now Manning just running up the steps and back in the ring. Flips him over, does Manning. Misses the elbow drop. Kicked in midsection by Lucario. And a go behind. Reverse neck breaker. Now Lucario going to the outside. And he's going for a weapon. Oh jeez. And Lucario pulling out a freaking table. Oh Christ. I can only imagine what he's going to do with that. And now Lucario is setting up the table for reasons. And Fan has a crutch. Manning's just wailing away at Lucario. And Lucario missing with a clothesline. Bulldog by Manning and Lucario on the floor. And Manning sending Lucario into the steel steps. And they just ran right into each other. And they both just punched each other in the face. And Lucario getting sent almost into the other steps. Manning, you good there? The table's still set up on the other side. Oh jeez. Lucario now has a ladder. Lucario, you're swinging that in the wrong direction, brother. And Manning knocking that ladder out of Lucario's hands. What the fuck? And they both just ran right into each other. And Lucario tried to go for another weapon, but Manning knocked him down. And now Manning just wailing away at him with punches. Headlock by Eli Manning. Lucario sends Manning into the barricade. And Lucario just beating the shit out of Eli Manning while he's propped up against the freaking barricade. And now Lucario going for another weapon. And Manning just putting the boots on him and nails a kick there to Lucario. That guy's trying to go for the weapons underneath the ring. How about you use the ones that the fans are literally holding out for you? You know? You let these people bring the shit for a reason, you know? Also, there's a perfectly usable table on the other side of the ring, and there's a ladder, too. Manning is just wandering on the ring. Now, Lucario has a chair. Manning has steel steps. And freaking Lucario is cracking Manning in the face with a chair. Missed it with a chair shot. And nailed him in the face again with a chair. And now just beating the crap out of him with that steel chair. And Manning sending Lucario back in the ring. Elbow to the face of Lucario by Eli Manning. And now Manning has a ladder. And he just nailed Lucario in the face of the ladder. And just nailed him again with that ladder. Another ladder shot by Eli Manning. And nailed him again that time. Manning knocking him down with that clothesline. And Manning with a neck breaker to Lucario on the outside. And Lucario just punches him off. And Lucario blocking that kick. And Manning nailing him with that one. Kicking midsection by Manning to Lucario. Sends him back towards the ring, but he stops. Lucario kicked the midsection of Manning. And Manning trips up on the freaking ladder. And now Lucario with a punch to the face. And the aura spike to Eli Manning. Now Lucario sending Manning back in the ring. Elbow to the face of Eli Manning by Lucario. And now Lucario has the steel steps. And Manning just knocking him down with that punch and knocking the steel steps out of his hands. Kicked the midsection by Eli Manning. And he sends Lucario back in the ring again. Elbow to the face of Lucario by Eli Manning. And now Manning is just running around the ring for reasons. And now Lucario has that kendo stick that Manning dropped earlier in the match. Punch to the face of Lucario. And a kick to midsection by Manning by Lucario. Sends him back in the ring. Elbow to the face of Manning by Lucario there. And now they're both back in the ring. Go behind by Lucario on Manning. And Manning reversed it into a belly to back suplex. And now Eli Manning springboard, which he missed. Good job. Elbow drop to the back of Eli Manning by Lucario. And Manning just punches him off. Oh God. I know Manning tried to go for the penalty kick, but Lucario got out of it. Now Lucario telling Manning to get up. And Lucario with another aura spike. Lucario, quit fucking taunting and pin him. Going for cover. 1, 2, and Lucario is the new hardcore champion. Well, it took 2 aura spikes and freaking God knows how many weapon shots, but Lucario wins his second ever championship in his career. And only his second match in New Gen, his first singles match, and he wins a championship. But this Pokemon is a double champion. That is freaking crazy to think about. Lucario, just huge congratulations for you, man. You were a double champion, and you were in your first championship in New Gen. It's the hardcore title. Freaking happy for you, dude. And the next match is the U.S. title match between Syndrome and Dion Richards. Sorry, I keep wanting to say Sanders for some reason. Freaking Richards is determined to get his title back after he took out Wario. Freaking Syndrome, I wish you luck. And this is the U.S. Championship match where Syndrome is defending his championship against Dion Richards. And after how he freaking literally squashed Wario, the match he had with him, Dion has sent a message to Syndrome that he is determined to win this championship back, and he is determined to get payback in any way, shape, or form that he deems possible to get that title back from Syndrome. The fact is, you may not know, Syndrome literally freaking should have lost that match with Dion for the title when Dion was still a champion because he tapped out submission, but the ref was distracted by Wario, and Syndrome would end up going on to win the match and win the title, even though Dion should have won the match. And I'm not the biggest fan of Dion because the dude has an attitude problem. The dude's a bit of a dick, but at the same time, me and a lot of other people understand and freaking don't blame him for being pissed off. And he was justified in being pissed off because he got screwed out of his title by these two jack-offs. Freaking, now that Wario has pretty much been taken out of the picture, Syndrome's pretty much on his own and has to contend with a really pissed off dude who really wants his freaking title back. Case of Dion. Syndrome, I would say I'd would be afraid for you, dude, but at the same time, you're still a bit of a dick, in my opinion. And here comes the former US champion and the former YouTube champion, Dion, is looking to win his US championship back after he got screwed out of it freaking the last time these two were in a match together for that title. And Dion freaking sent a message to freaking Syndrome when he literally squashed Wario in their one-on-one match. He wants this title back, something fierce. Because even though he wants to be world champion, Dion really was happy when he was US champion because as he said, it was a freaking upgrade from the YouTube championship. Because he didn't like how freaking he felt like it was just a handout from Xavier's. Even though it wasn't, but you know what I mean. I don't know. Either way. Even though freaking Dion's a bit of a jerk, freaking in my opinion, if I had to choose between the two of them, I'm rooting for Dion just to get payback for when Syndrome screwed him, along with Wario. So Syndrome, good luck with this one, buddy, because you brought this pain on yourself, man. And let's get this US title match underway between these two. And Dion with an armbar on Syndrome, and Dion with a suplex to Syndrome as well. What a way to start this match. And now Dion with a headlock on Syndrome. Clothesline to Syndrome. Knocking him down. And another one just turning him inside out. And Dion is still pissed. And like I said, I don't blame him. And just slams him down. Just showing his superiority over Syndrome already. Black hole slam by freaking Dion. Into a boss man slam, whichever one you want to call it. And Dion just beating the shit out of Syndrome at the same time. He's just wailing away at him, just knocking him down with those punches. Now Dion will go behind on Syndrome. And Syndrome reversed it into a belly-to-back suplex. Now Syndrome will go behind on Dion. And Dion reversed it into a belly-back suplex of his own. And Dion just beating the shit out of Syndrome, knocking him down with that one. And Syndrome blocking whatever Dion tried to go for there into a kick midsection. And Syndrome with a Northern Light suplex. And an armbar by Syndrome. And shoulder tackle by Dion to Syndrome there. Now Syndrome freaking Dion just trading punches. And Dion kicked midsection of Syndrome in the headlock. And Syndrome reversed it into a Russian leg sweep. And now Syndrome with a headlock on Dion. Suplex by freaking Syndrome to Dion. And a headlock again by Syndrome. Gut wrench suplex. And a leg drop by Syndrome as well. And now Dion picking up Syndrome picking up Dion, sorry. Armbar by Syndrome on Dion. A knee in the midsection of Syndrome by Dion. And a kick in the midsection as well. Blocks that kick and just shoves him off. And Syndrome blocks that punch. And a headlock again. Elbow to the back of the head. And now Dion just more punches and that one knocking down Syndrome. And just dragging Syndrome away from the ropes. Going for a cover as Dion. Only one count. Clothesline by freaking Dion taking down Syndrome. And Syndrome blocking that punch. Yeah, punched him in the face. And knocks him in the ribs. And now sets him on the middle rope. And now just freaking trying to choke out Dion with his knee on his back against the ropes. Another leg drop by Syndrome. And now Syndrome picking up Dion. An armbar by Syndrome. Clothesline by Syndrome taking down Dion. Bossman slam by Dion there to Syndrome. And now Dion setting up for the freaking Dion powerbomb to Syndrome. Going for cover. 1, 2, and Dion gets the win with one freaking Dion bomb. Jesus Christ. Message sent by Dion. Don't fuck with me. And don't fucking steal my title in bullshit fashion. But Dion Richards, is a two-time U.S. champion with an emphatic victory over Syndrome. And it literally only took one freaking Dion bomb to win the match. And that should tell you about how tough Dion is. Crazy. Dion is a two-time U.S. champion, who would have thought? And he got his payback for losing that title thanks to Wario. Maybe now Syndrome will learn not to fuck with him anymore. Next match is a tag team number 1 contender gauntlet match. Whoever wins that match will face the Roadhouse Soldiers at Final Hunt 2 on day 1. This show has just been crazy, man. And this is a tag team number 1 contender gauntlet match. Whoever wins this match will face the Roadhouse Soldiers for the tag titles at Final Hunt 2, the new gen portion of that show. And the first team to come out is the X-Men, which unsurprisingly Gambit has joined because, you know, he was X-Men in the freaking cartoons and shit. And he's apparently teaming up with freaking Colossus this time around. I guess Beast is deciding to take the night off. But we haven't seen Beast in like forever, so who the hell knows. Probably back working in his lab at the mansion or some shit. Or running for president somewhere, I don't know. I don't know what the hell Beast does. I don't freaking tell him what to do. He does what he wants. He just gets paid to show up whenever he does. That's all. I just wonder who the hell the X-Men's first opponents are going to be. And I know there's like 5 teams in this gauntlet match. And here comes their opponents. It's the freaking Mario Brothers. Oh, Lord. This is going to be interesting to see. See if Mario and Luigi can win another shot at tag titles after they freaking... I think they've challenged for the belts before and they lost, but I can't remember. But either way. But as I was saying, there's 5 teams in this match. I don't know who the other 3 are. All I know is that, like I said, whoever wins this tag team gauntlet match will get a shot at the tag belts at Final Hunt 2. And this is a big freaking opportunity for all 5 of these teams, whoever the other 3 are, especially whoever the other 3 are, depending. Because Final Hunt 2 is the biggest show of the year, and even if you lose, it's still a major payday. And everybody here wants to get that extra money, bonus money, you know? And let's get this tag team gauntlet match underway, and immediately Gambit starting off with Mario. This is Gambit's second ever match. The only other match he was in was that hardcore title number 1 contender battle royal that Lucario would end up winning, which gave him the opportunity that he was successfully pulling off the huge win earlier in the show against Eli Manning for the hardcore title, making him a double champion because he's AOT2 champion. Dominion, and bit of a plug here from AOT2. Dominion will be taking place on April 9th. Which at the time it's recording, because I've been slacking on recording the show, thinking it will be soon. Much like how this show will probably be sometime here soon, later this week. Like I said, I have been slacking on recording this freaking show. Among other things. Because freaking real life shit's been getting in the way of that crap. But either way. And Colossus dragging Mario, after hitting him with a neck breaker. Going for a cover. 1, not even a 1 count. And Colossus just nailing freaking Lucario that punch, knocking him down. And Lucario kicks the big man off him. And tags in Luigi. Luigi just doesn't even give a shit about Colossus. He's trying to go after Gambit, and Colossus just punched Gambit unintentionally, trying to hit Luigi, and slams him down. And now Colossus just another clubbing shot there, knocking down Luigi. And Colossus with a suplex to Luigi. Go for cover, Colossus. Not even a 1 count. It would take a lot more than that suplex beat Luigi, I can tell you that much, Colossus. And Luigi with an armbar. And headlock by Luigi. Northern Light suplex. Drop kick by Luigi as well. And now Luigi dragging Colossus from the ropes. Going for covers Luigi. Not even a 1 count. A lot of no counts in this match so far. And just slamming his back against his knee, Luigi to Colossus. And a stomp to the arm of Colossus by Luigi. And Colossus just shoves him off. And Luigi cuts off Colossus and tried to run over the tag and Gambit. And Colossus just slamming Luigi face first against the ring and tags in Gambit. Now Gambit with a knee drop to Luigi. And now Gambit just a punch to the face of Luigi in a headlock. And now Gambit, the freaking chicken wing face buster there. Or whatever the hell it's called, I don't know. Either way, Colossus runs over and takes out Mario. Going for covers Gambit. Only a 1 count. And now Gambit just rolls out of the ring smartly. Oh god, really Gambit, we're doing this now? We've been doing perfectly fine this entire freaking show, and you finally decide to tear apart my announce table. And Enziguri by Luigi to Gambit. Now Luigi with a go behind on Gambit. Now the Mario brothers are ganging up on Gambit. STO Russian leg sweep there. Or whatever the hell that was. And now Mario sends Gambit back in the ring. And now Gambit's back up. And now he's on the back on the outside of the ring as Luigi taking, I don't know what the hell he was doing. And now Luigi trying to go for the walls of the Mushroom Kingdom on the outside of the ring. If you're going to try and make him tap out, Luigi should have done that in the ring. And Colossus just runs over and breaks up the submission. And now, I thought Mario was about to try to go for a springboard or some shit. And Luigi getting nailed to the backbreaker by Colossus. And it's just chaos in the outside of the ring right now. Gambit, what are you doing? Luigi's back in the ring now. And now Gambit's back in the ring. While Mario and Colossus are still fighting. Gambit nailing Luigi with the freaking Gambit driver. 1, 2, and Gambit scores a win on Luigi. Kind of an upset there. For that. And now on to the next team. Still can't believe that freaking Mario Bros already got eliminated. And now apparently Raven's on his way out here. When the freak was the last time you seen Raven? Freaking. Apparently he has a tag team partner. He's going to be there in this gauntlet match. I don't know who the hell Raven's tag team partner is. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see the former freaking ECW and TNA and WCW freaking US champion and ECW tag team champion freaking in this match. Raven's held a lot of freaking belts. That's freaking, you know. I can't think of the term right now. Freaking. But, Raven, like I said, Raven's held a lot of belts in his career. And he's a former hardcore champion in TAW. Shout out to Josh again. I just wonder who the hell Raven's tag team partner is in this match. And I doubt it's Tommy Dreamer. That would be kind of cool, though, if we actually had Tommy Dreamer on this roster. That would be freaking dope. Freaking, like I said, I still can't believe that the Mario Bros got eliminated so early. Like, I was not expecting them to freaking be eliminated so quickly in this match. And apparently Colossus is standing in the ring, and apparently Gambit must have tagged him in while freaking, after they eliminated the Mario Brothers from this gauntlet match. Oh god, I know who this is. Another former ECW champion. Or at least in the television and tag team title in the case. And he's a former freaking champion in TNA and WWE. And a million other places, I feel like. Rob Van freaking Dam. Basically 2 ECW alumni freaking teaming up together in this match, apparently. And this is definitely going to be interesting to see how these two work together. Because I don't remember RVD and Raven ever really doing anything in ECW as far as each other was concerned. I'm pretty sure they probably face each other, maybe. But as far as, like, freaking ever, like, tagging together, I don't think that ever happened. Like I said, this is definitely going to be interesting to see these two ECW legends teaming up and try and win this gauntlet match. Oh, never mind. I guess Gambit was still the legal man. Well, they were, and I guess Colossus was in the ring for reasons. And Gambit gets whipped in the corner by Raven, who gets kicked off by Gambit. And now Gambit is just going ham on Raven. And he's beating the shit out of him, and a clubbing shot to the back of Raven by Gambit. And Colossus is hyped. And now Gambit picking up Raven. Go behind by Gambit. Whips him in the ropes. Drop to a hold by Raven to Gambit. And a leg drop, which he somehow missed. Good job. And Gambit just throwing a wild haymaker there. And drop to a hold by Raven there after suckering Gambit in there. And a headlock by Raven. Super kick to Gambit. Jesus Christ. When the freak Raven ever used a super kick? A shot to the lower back of Raven by Gambit. And Gambit gets whipped in the corner. Watch out, ref. And Gambit just kicks Raven away. Now just going ham on him again. And Raven blocks that kick. And Gambit just shoves him off. Another drop to hold by Gambit. And Raven runs over and tags in RVD. Close on by Gambit to RVD. Now Gambit runs over and tags in Colossus. And now Colossus is whipping RVD in the corner. And RVD with a pair of elbows to the face of Colossus there. Now Khan never time between the two. Sean McCarty's going to be happy about this. Go behind by RVD. Into a headlock. Elbow to the face of Colossus by RVD. Just kicks him, knocking him in the corner. A headlock by RVD. And just a leaping spin kick there by RVD, showing that agility that made him so famous. German suplex by Colossus to RVD. And RVD dodging that clubbing shot there, and just whistling wildly with that heel kick. And now Raven grabbing Colossus, and RVD just a chop to the chest with the big guy. And now RVD just repeated kicks to the head of Colossus there. And Colossus shoves him off. Now Khan elbow tie between the two. And now RVD with an armbar on Colossus. And just punches him down. And jumping, spinning leg drop there by RVD, which he missed. Another German suplex to RVD by Colossus. And now Colossus tags in Gambit. And a headlock by Gambit. But RVD showing that agility, I guess. Headlock by RVD. And Gambit just slams him face first. And Gambit nailing a knee drop. Which apparently got Colossus hyped up as all hell. Just slammed his knee against the ring there. There's Gambit. And now Gambit with a reverse DDT. Almost like a scorpion death drop. Oh god. Now Gambit's going for some weird kind of submission. And Raven manages to break it up. Just getting a cheap pair of shots there, Gambit. And Gambit nailing the Gambit driver to freaking Raven. He's not the legal man, Gambit. RVD's just going crazy. And Gambit is still beating up Raven for some reason. A suplex into a face buster. What the fuck? Gambit, he's not the legal guy. I'm pretty sure it's still RVD. RVD, you might want to get in there and save your partner, bro. Reverse neck breaker there by RVD to Gambit. Going for cover. One, not even one count. And Gambit blocking that kick there. And trips him up. And now Gambit going for this weird submission on single leg Boston Crab kind of submission there, RVD by Gambit, and Raven breaks it up again. Now the X-Men are both just ganging up on RVD. And Gambit with a knee drop to RVD. Double covers Gambit. One, and RVD kicks out. Clothesline by Gambit to RVD. And now Gambit with a freaking double arm freaking face buster there. Or whatever the hell that is. I still don't know what the hell that is. Somebody leave it in the comments on this video what that is. 2, and Gambit pins RVD off of that. On to the next team, because the X-Men are 2-0 now. And I know I said there was 5 teams, but I was not expecting when RVD and Raven came on, which made them, and they inserted themselves in this match and made them the 6th team. But freaking here comes Lucha Tech, and we haven't seen these two guys team up in a while. King almost won that hardcore battle royal that looked title. You know what I mean. Freaking the battle royal that Lucario won get that opportunity he had earlier in the show. But, and now this is the first time El Dragon Azteca Jr. has been back in a freaking hot minute. Now these two are hoping to get another opportunity to tag titles. I remember these two actually challenged for the titles like a long ass time ago. And now they're trying to get another opportunity. Like I said, this is Azteca Jr.'s first match in quite some time. So this is going to be interesting. And let's get this thing back underway. And Gambit is still the legal man after he was the one that scored the pinfall victory over RVD, eliminating him and Raven from this match. And starting off with Dragon Azteca Jr., one of my favorite wrestlers from freaking Lucha Underground. Probably was going to have a whole storyline with Jake Hager, freaking, or as he was known in Lucha Underground, Jake Strong, for the Lucha Underground title. But we never got to see that happen because, you know, if you know what happened in Lucha Underground, you know what I'm talking about, which was bullshit. And Azteca Jr. and King with a double arm drag by Gambit and a pair of kicks to the chest and the back. Standing moonsault by freaking King. Or freaking backflip, I don't know what the hell that was. And King's just wailing away at Gambit with kicks, and that kick just sends Gambit to the outside of the ring. And now Gambit is just wandering around the ring, not sure what the heck to make of the fact that he's fighting a dude dressed as a lion. Or a tiger, one of the two. And Gambit getting whooped back in the ring by King. Springboard! And he took out the ref. Good job, dumbass. You freaking idiot. Oh, that's going to be in a freaking compilation at some point in the future. I can already tell. Now the ref's dead, thanks to King, nailing that springboard to him unintentionally. And Colossus is tagged in now. Neckbreaker by Colossus. And Colossus just knocking down King there. Freaking. I still cannot get over it. Freaking King just nailing the ref with that springboard. Oh, that was freaking hilarious. And King whipping Colossus into the ropes. Arm drag by King and Colossus. And now King with a Hurricane Run of the Colossus there. And King tagging El Dragon Azteca Jr. Colossus just with a kick at El Dragon Azteca. And suplex by El Dragon Azteca Jr. Dragon, what are you doing? Literally, I literally just had my table put back together during your guys' entrance. What the fuck, El Dragon Azteca? Seriously? And now Azteca Jr. back in the ring. Calling out a tie between him and the big guy. Sean McCarty's going to be happy about that. In a headlock. And Azteca whipping Colossus to the outside. And just kicking him off the apron. King, what the frig was that? And Azteca, you're just going to stand there or you're going to do something? And King just sending Colossus back in the ring. And now Azteca Jr. in the ring after Colossus just whiffed that punch that was probably aimed for King. And he just sends him back out to the outside of the ring. And King just tripping up Colossus, making him land face first on the apron. And now Colossus sending Azteca Jr. into my table. Shoulder tackle by Colossus to Azteca Jr. And Gambit's in the ring for reasons. King just broke up whatever your tag team partner was trying to go for there. Good job, dumbass. And now Azteca Jr. is back in the ring. And he just sends Colossus back out to the outside of the ring. Like he is determined to do whatever it is he wanted to do. And just kicks him off the apron again. And King sending Colossus right into the ring post. Colossus getting sent back in the ring by Azteca Jr. Elbow to the face by El Dragon with Colossus there. Now Colossus to go behind into a headlock on El Dragon Azteca Jr. And just clotheslines him, knocking him down there. Sends him in the corner. Running splash there. And Colossus with a crossbody into a spear. And Colossus with a spine buster to freaking El Dragon Azteca Jr. 1, 2, and freaking Colossus pins El Dragon with a spine buster. That's surprising. On to the next team. And here comes the next opponents for the X-Men, who have been surprisingly doing pretty well in this tag team gauntlet so far. And it's the freaking Talon's own freaking resident tag team, the freaking symbiotes of Carnage and Venom. Wonder if they're aware that Anti-Venom's on this roster. Probably shouldn't have said that. It was probably a spoiler. But you freaking yes, we signed Anti-Venom from freaking AOT2 Wrestling. He's on this roster too. He's just hanging around somewhere. I don't freaking know where the hell he is. But he's, from what I've been told, he was supposed to have been wrestled at some point. But I don't know when the hell that's going to happen. But either way, this is going to be an interesting test to see for the symbiotes and see if they can beat the X-Men. Because the X-Men are 3 for 3 so far. They eliminated every other team in this match. And we haven't seen the symbiotes tag in a match together in quite some time. Wouldn't that be just crazy though if the X-Men managed to win this whole thing? I have my doubts, but who knows. And Colossus starting off with Venom. Venom reversing whenever Colossus tried to go for there and a kick to the midsection. STO by Venom. And Colossus shoving off Venom there. And a shoulder tackle to Venom. Tags and Gambit. He's been like the MVP of this match so far. Making up for how he got eliminated from that Battle Royal he was debuted in really quickly. And Gambit's been showing up in this match. He tags in Carnage as Venom. And now Carnage and Gambit are going at it. And Gambit with a knee drop in Carnage. And Venom just breaking up Gambit trying to go for there. Well, Gambit now just wailing away at Carnage and nails him with a clothesline. Now just choking out the former hardcore champion. And just choking him out some more. At least if I remember correctly, Carnage was a former hardcore champion. I have to check my notes. And Carnage barely getting him with that clothesline or whatever the hell that was there. And now Gambit with an armbar on Carnage and a shot to the arm of the symbiote knocks him in the corner and tags in Colossus. Oh god! And just slamming Carnage face first against Colossus' boot. I keep wanting to call him Gambit for some reason. And Colossus takes out Venom. They're both going after the wrong person. And Gambit getting knocked off the apron by Carnage, while Colossus going after Venom for some reason. And now the legal guys are both back in the ring. And Colossus takes out Venom again. And Carnage with a suplex to Gambit for reasons. And now Colossus realizes who he's supposed to be fighting. And Colossus just a punch to the face of Carnage there. Shoulder tackle by Colossus. Going for cover. 1, 2, and Venom breaks it up. Just a punch to the face of Carnage there. And Carnage with a drop kick to Colossus. And Colossus blocking that punch and nails that one in a headlock. Whatever the hell that was by Colossus there. Oh god, Colossus, what are you doing? Springboard, which he nailed. Might need to teach King how to nail springboard because that was still hilarious how he took out the freaking ref. Go for cover. 1, 2, and Venom breaks it up. And now everybody's in the ring and just chaos. And now Carnage with a chop to the chest of Colossus and a German suplex to the big guy. Carnage might be smaller than Colossus, but he's just as strong, if not stronger. Going for cover is Carnage. Going for cover. Yeah. 1, 2. Nope, only 1 count. And Venom is just in the ring for reasons, probably chasing after Gambit. And now Carnage with a sleeper hold on Colossus, while Venom is just beating the shit out of Gambit, who just nailed the Gambit driver to Venom, and Colossus with a chin breaker to Carnage. Oh god. And Colossus with another springboard, which he missed. Good job, moron. At least he didn't take out the ref like King. Neckbreaker by Colossus to Carnage. Going for covers, Colossus. 1, 2, and Venom breaks it up. And now Colossus was kicked the midsection of Carnage. And now going for a full Nelson is Colossus. And Venom breaks up with that errant shot to the back. Russian leg sweep by freaking Gambit. And Colossus blocking the dropkick from Carnage. Shoulder tackle again by Colossus. And now Colossus going for a cover. 1, 2. And Venom was too late to pick up that pin attempt, and Colossus pinned Carnage off that shoulder tackle. Now we're going to see who the final team is as the X-Men have to somehow beat to win this match. And this is the final team of this gauntlet match. And what the there's no fucking way we got these guys. There's no fucking way. I know Rollins has been on this roster, he's wrestling on the show before. What the fuck? It's the tribal chief who I'll never fucking acknowledge, freaking Roman Reigns, and Rollins, and they're dressed up in the Shield gear, and apparently the Shield have reunited, and they're the final team of this freaking gauntlet match. Like, I know we haven't seen Rollins in forever, and I was not sure which roster he was going to be wrestling on. He was going to be showing up on a regular basis. But I guess him and Roman have freaking squashed the beef they've had for quite some time now. And they've reunited as a freaking Shield. X-Men, I wish you luck beating these guys. That's all I have to say. And let's get this final part of the tag team gauntlet match underway. And I still can't believe that the Shield have reunited in this gauntlet match. Now Rollins is taking on Colossus. Whoops him in the ropes. In a backbreaker, into a neckbreaker is Rollins to Colossus. A headlock by Colossus to Rollins. Just nails him with a suplex. Now Colossus with a headlock on Rollins. And just a body slam to Rollins there. A knee to the back of Rollins. And now Colossus picking up Rollins. Armbar. And he whips Seth Rollins into the corner. And tags in Gambit. And off the ropes. And double back body drop to Seth Rollins by Colossus and Gambit. And now Gambit with this weird submission on Seth Rollins and an elbow to the top of the head. And a knee drop. Drop kick to the leg of Rollins there by Gambit. And another one taking him down. And now headlock by Gambit on Rollins. Whoops him in the corner. Right into the arms of Colossus. Just a chop to the chest of the multi-time former WWE champion and world champion. Rollins tags in Roman Reigns. And now Reigns is just wailing away at freaking Gambit and a thrust kick to the midsection of Gambit, knocking him down. And Reigns whipping Gambit into the ropes. Into the Samoan drop. And now Roman Reigns with a headlock on Gambit. Suplex by Gambit to Roman Reigns. Drop kick to the leg of Roman Reigns as well by Gambit. I still can't believe that the Shield are teaming up again and freaking on this show. It's just crazy. And a suplex by Gambit to Roman Reigns. And I will say this again. I am never going to acknowledge Roman Reigns as the tribal chief. I don't care what you freaking WWE marks say. And Roman with another freaking alley-oop catch freaking Samoan drop. And misses the elbow drop there, mostly. An armbar by Roman. Armbreaker by Roman and Gambit. And Roman with a go behind a Gambit who just flips him over. And now Gambit with another armbar on Roman. And a rake to the eyes of the freaking OTC. Now Gambit with an armbar. And a clothesline to Roman. What the freak? And another clothesline by Gambit. What the freak is this offense by Gambit to Roman Reigns? Just freaking crazy. Now just choking out Roman again as Gambit. Freaking crazy, man. And now Gambit try to go for another suplex. Into a face buster to Roman Reigns by Gambit. He tags in Colossus. And now Colossus is wailing away at Roman Reigns and just knocks him outside of the ring. And Rollins is just standing there watching the whole time. And now Rollins is getting involved and he sends Colossus back in the ring. An elbow to the head of Colossus by Roman Reigns. And now Roman's back in the ring. And now Reigns with a suplex to Colossus. What the frick? Reigns blocking that punch and a headlock by Roman. Elbow to the face of Roman Reigns by Colossus. And Seth Rollins holding on to Colossus while Reigns is down. And now Roman's back up. knee to the midsection of Colossus by Roman Reigns. And now Colossus with a go behind on Roman. And the freaking spinebuster by Colossus to Roman Reigns. The Colossus once again is in the arm to Seth Rollins, sorry. You can't go for the pin attempt like you normally would have. And now Colossus goes for the pin. 1, 2, and Roman Reigns kicks out, unsurprisingly. And Seth Rollins with a suplex to Colossus. And now Roman with an armbar on Colossus. Arm breaker to Colossus by Roman Reigns. Forearm to the face of Colossus. Neck breaker by Colossus to Roman Reigns. Springboard by Colossus, which he missed. Good job. And now Roman whipping Colossus in the corner. Ref, get out of the way. STO by Roman. An elbow drop. Go behind by Roman Reigns and Colossus. And a suplex by Roman. And now Seth Rollins with a hot tag. And Roman Reigns tags in Rollins. Don't fuck it up, Seth. And he didn't fuck it up that time, at least. And he fucked up that part. Good job, Rollins. And the streak continues. It's Rollins just missing that punch there. It's Colossus just juked him, broke his ankles. And Gambit with a Gambit driver to Seth Rollins. Going for cover is Gambit. 1, 2, and Seth Rollins kicked out into Roman Reigns broke it up. And now count over time between the two. Shawn's going to be happy about that. Into a go behind by Gambit. In a shot to the back of Rollins. Whips him in the corner. Tags in Colossus does Gambit. And just slamming Rollins' face into Colossus' boot. Oh god. And Colossus with another springboard, which he actually nailed that time. And Gambit is freaking hyped. And now Colossus is going for a cover on Seth Rollins. 1, 2, and Roman Reigns breaks it up. And Rollins just a pair of punches out of Colossus and whips him in the corner. Clothesline, not Seth Rollins knocking him down. And Rollins with a rake to the eyes of Colossus. Float over neck breaker by Rollins. And Colossus punches him off. Shoulder tackle by Colossus to Seth Rollins. Oh god. And Colossus going to the top turnbuckle. And a freaking diving headbutt to the back of Seth Rollins by Colossus. Tags in Gambit. And now Gambit dragging Rollins away from the ropes because of reasons, I guess. And now Rollins is back up and headlocked by Gambit, and Rollins slips out of it into a Russian leg sweep. And Rollins whipping Gambit into the corner. And tags in Roman. And Roman with a double foot stomp to the back of Gambit. Normally that's something like Rollins would do, and Roman fucked up his own spear. Roman freaking hit the guy, for Christ. Roman with a clubbing shot to the chest of Colossus, knocking him off the apron. And Gambit with a shot to the back of Roman. And there's a pair of elbows to the Gambit there by Roman Reigns. And Gambit with a neck breaker to Roman. And drags him away from the ropes. Going for covers Gambit. 1, 2, and Seth Rollins breaks up the pin attempt. A kick to the midsection by Roman Reigns after that freaking jab to the midsection by Gambit. And Gambit puts Roman in the corner. Gambit pulling Roman Reigns back up to his feet in a headlock. And double arm face buster there by freaking Gambit to Roman Reigns. And now Gambit go for cover. And Seth Rollins breaks it up. And Roman Reigns blocking the kick there. And Gambit just shoves him off. Kicked midsection by Roman Reigns. Whips him in the corner, right into the arms of Seth. Chop to the chest of Gambit by Roman. Tags in Rollins. And a stomp to the arm of Gambit by Rollins. Just a flurry of punches there by Rollins, and he inadvertently knocked Roman Reigns off the apron. Good job. Whoops. Gambit in the corner. Gambit with a roll up. Go for cover is Gambit. 1. And Roman Reigns break it up. Not a cover. But you know what I mean. And Gambit with a Gambit driver to Seth Rollins. Go for cover is Gambit. 1, 2, and Roman Reigns just saves freaking him and Rollins' freaking was like barely managing to break up that pin attempt. And Rollins tags in Roman. Forearm in the face of Gambit there by Roman Reigns. And now just slamming the back of his head against the ring. Elbow drop by Roman. Carnival type again. Sean's gonna be loving this. And that armbar by Gambit and rakes the eyes of Roman Reigns. Russian leg sweep by Gambit to Roman Reigns. And Seth Rollins holding on to Gambit now. And now Roman's back up. And now he's holding on to him again. And now Roman, another chop to the chest of Gambit. And just slams his arm against the ring. Most useless move in wrestling. Going for covers Roman Reigns. Not even a 1 count. Unsurprising. Go behind by Roman. And now him and Rollins are double teaming Gambit. Enzuko hit a Gambit by Rollins. And just repeatedly punching the side of Gambit's head before slamming him face first into the ring. STO by Roman Reigns and Gambit. Jumping freaking clothesline there by Roman Reigns to Gambit. 1, and Colossus picks up the pin attempt. Spear by Roman! And Rollins with a sunset flip powerbomb to Colossus. 1, 2, and the Shield are going to final hunt 2 to challenge with tag titles. Jesus Christ, this freaking match, man. Freaking X-Men came up freaking short when it came to taking on probably one of the best tag teams that WWE ever had. After they'd just been running roughshod to this gauntlet match. And the Shield, in their first match in this company, are getting an opportunity to tag titles. Roadhouse Soldiers are going to be in for one hell of a fight. That's for damn sure. And this freaking match, if this was a real life match, if this didn't get at least 6 stars, I would have been amazed, honestly. But at least this, just for this part of the gauntlet match alone. But the Shield are the #1 contenders for the tag titles. And there's Roman Reigns and Rollins just doing their thing. They celebrate this huge win. And the next match is the women's New Gen title match between Dawn and Morgan. Whoever wins will be facing Sonya for the undisputed women's championship of this company. At Final Hunt. Lord have mercy. And this is Dawn's first defense of the Queen of New Gen's championship since she won it from Juliet Sterling recently. And the sad part is this is probably going to be the only defense she'll have of that title, because if she manages to win this match against Morgan, she'll be relinquishing that title, and she'll be facing Sonya to decide who will be the first undisputed women's champion of the whole company. Granted, from what I've been told, that this title will still be around, but it'll work like the King of Worlds title on the main roster. But I don't know. I reckon that's something that Paul Phoenix and Lex Luthor will have to get together and talk about and discuss. That's just what I heard from the rumor mill. And you know, Dawn does not want to freaking lose this championship after she literally just won the damn thing. And she wants to be able to go in the final hunt to challenge Sonya. This is a big freaking match for Dawn. To prove that her win over freaking Juliet Sterling wasn't a fluke. And I know it wasn't, but you know, there's doubters. Probably will say it was. And here comes a woman who is trying to prove herself since she came here after making the Mag Nation shut down. She's trying to prove it to everybody that she's more than just another alumni from the Mag Nation. And she wants to win her first championship, being Morgan Ainsland from Night Stalkers. I don't know anything about that game. I just know that Morgan was a character in the Mag Nation that I believe was pretty popular back then. And now she's trying to win her first ever championship. And she wants to be the one that goes to Final Hunt to face Sonya to crown the first ever undisputed women's champion. And that would be huge for Morgan if she managed to be the final Queen of New Gen champion. At least in this iteration. The belt's still going to be around. Just going to, like I said, it's going to work like the King of Worlds title. Same with the Queen of Wolves title that main roster has. Freaking both belts will just be put together in one belt. I don't know, freaking. Like I said, I have to talk to this freaking general managers of both rosters about that. And there's the belt these two ladies are fighting for. And this is going to be interesting. And let's get this one-on-one match underway between these two girls. And Dawn immediately with a super kick to Morgan. Double covers Dawn. Only a one count. I don't think Morgan was expecting Dawn to already hit her with a super kick. You have to watch out for that. Dawn's notorious for hitting super kicks out of nowhere. Freaking she Sheldon Benjamin freaking Daphne one time. Back in the Magnation. And Dawn with a neck breaker to Morgan. And an elbow drop to the chest of Morgan as well. Forearm to the face of Morgan there by Dawn. Now Dawn already setting up for a second super kick. Or not. And Morgan reverses the attempted forearm into a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. And Morgan with an armbar on Dawn. And Dawn with an enziguri to Morgan. Now Khan ever tap between these two girls. An armbar by Dawn. And a shot to the arm of Morgan there too. Kick to midsection by Dawn. And Morgan with just a flurry of punches. And go behind by Morgan. And just lifts her up and slams her down. There's Morgan to Dawn. And now Morgan headlock on Dawn. And Dawn reverses into a Russian leg sweep. And now Dawn drags her from the ropes. And now Dawn going for a freaking sharpshooter. He's trying to make Morgan tap out with the sharpshooter, which would be kind of hilarious. And then Morgan is desperately crawling to the ropes. And for whatever reason, Dawn released a hold on her. A chop to the chest of Morgan. And another super kick to Morgan. Going for the cover is Dawn. 1, 2, and Dawn retains her championship over Morgan. And it'll be Dawn versus Sonya Blade with the Undisputed Women's Championship at Final Hunt. Might not have been that long of a match, but Morgan was not going to be denied, or she was trying not to be. And Dawn was determined to win this match. It just took 2 freaking super kicks for her to do so. And Dawn will now be moving on to Final Hunt 2, the challenge the main roster women's champion. And whoever wins that will become the first undisputed women's champion. And the next match is a women's tag team title match. Because AJ and Pinky really wanted to be on the show. Even though they didn't have to be, but they wanted to defend the titles. And the Sirens of Maya and Lilith stepped up and accepted the challenge. So I cannot wait to see how freaking Pinky and AJ do in their first title defense. And this is the women's tag team title match, which really didn't have to happen, but Pinky and Applejack were really insistent they wanted to defend their titles on this pay-per-view. So GMs of both brands was like, alright, we'll find you an opponents, and freaking the Sirens of Lilith and Maya stepped up and challenged them for the titles. So this will be Pinky and AJ's first defense of their belts. And this is probably the biggest opportunity Lilith and Maya will ever have as far as it goes to the women's tag team division. And for those who didn't see it, freaking Pinky and Applejack had a barn burner of a match with freaking Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy to win these tag titles. It's probably one of the best matches that ever happened in this company. I've never seen freaking two girls who are more determined than ever to win a title in my life. And Pinky and AJ are just in the ring waiting for freaking the sirens to come out. What the hell? Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy are still in the ring, and they just jumped to the current tag team champions of the women's division. And now they're just whipping AJ into the ropes. And they just freaking dropped her freaking right onto the top rope, the freaking ring. And now Poison Ivy and Harley with a freaking double suplex of Pinky. Ivy and Harley must still be pissed off from losing to these two, and now they're just assaulting the champions. And now I doubt we're even going to have a tag title match we were supposed to be having. And Harley's just putting the boots to AJ, like, Jesus Christ. And now Ivy has to pull her off, like, what the freak is your issue, Harley? Can somebody get freaking security out here to get these two freaking... Not allowed to say things I want to say about these two, but can somebody get security out here and somebody get some medical attention for Pinky and AJ? But meanwhile, while Pinky and AJ are being taken to the hospital for the beatdown from Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn from out of nowhere, meanwhile, we're just moving right into the freaking main event of this freaking pay-per-view. The World Heavyweight Championship match for the New Gen title between Sephiroth and Ken Masters, who's finally cashing in his freaking Black Friday Money in the Bank briefcase. And since he's an honorable fighter, he wanted to do this, without any bullshit. So that way, if he does manage to beat Sephiroth, there would be no freaking doubts. Meanwhile, Sephiroth has been more than eager for this match. He's very confident that he can beat freaking Ken Masters, which is why he really hasn't even said anything about it. Beating Ken and everything. And here comes the current world champion, who defeated Cassie and Cinders to win that championship and sent Cassie up to the main roster. And ever since he won the title, Sephiroth has held on to it with an iron grip. And he is freaking ruled over this freaking part of the company ever since. And this will be Sephiroth's first defense of his title in quite a while. I can't remember the last time Sephiroth defended the title. Also because nobody wanted to fuck with him, besides Doomfist. You know how Doomfist is. Freaking. And now Sephiroth has to freaking take on somebody who's been on the rise of late. He's gained a lot of popularity, and he's had a lot of momentum going into this, especially after winning that briefcase. Hell, last time we seen Ken was he had that one-on-one match with the Hales. And we all know how that turned out. And like I said, Sephiroth, as you can tell, he is definitely not deterred. He probably is more than confident that he's going to walk out of here with the title that he's held for quite some time now. And if I was picking Ken, I would be shitting my pants, because I would not want to fuck with Sephiroth, that's for sure. He's a scary motherfucker. And he's also powerful as all hell. And here comes Sephiroth's opponent, one half of the Street Fighters, along with his buddy Ryu Hayabusa. Well, not Ryu Hayabusa, just Ryu from Street Fighter. Ken freaking Masters. Ken has been wanting this opportunity for a while, and he chose this night to challenge Sephiroth for the title by turning in his freaking Black Friday Money in the Bank briefcase that he won last year. And whoever wins this match between these two is going to the main event of freaking Final Hunt 2, the freaking New Gen portion of the show. So this would be huge for both these guys. I know that for a fact. And Ken has been eager, and then, like you said earlier in the show, he knows he can beat Sephiroth, and he is determined to walk out of here as the world champion. And I don't doubt that he has a pretty good chance of winning, but who knows? And as the challenger, Ken Masters, who was also one of the biggest names in freaking CIW, shout out to Sean McCarty and Colonial Impact Wrestling, And there's the freaking current world champion, who's also a former XYZ champion in CIW. Crazy to think two guys that wrestle for another company also in the main event of this company's show. That prestigious New Gen Championship. Biggest moment of Ken's wrestling career right now. And let's get this New Gen World title match underway. And Colin have a tie between the two. Sean McCarty, speaking of CIW, will be happy. And they both just punch each other in the face there. And Sephiroth getting whipped in the ropes by Ken. DDT by Sephiroth to Ken. And Sephiroth with a suplex to Ken Masters. And now Sephiroth with a headlock on Ken, who just tosses him off. And now Ken with and Sephiroth another Colin Elbow tie-up. These two freaking wrestling like they're still in CIW. And Sephiroth is tossing him off again. And Ken blocking that punch. Arm bar by Ken, sorry. And Sephiroth whipping Ken to the outside. And now Ken's back in the ring. Kicked the midsection of Sephiroth, and he blocks that punch and nailed him with a flurry of punches there. And Ken blocks that one. And a headlock again by Ken. And Ken with a suplex to Sephiroth. And Sephiroth with a go behind on Ken. He reversed it into a belly to back suplex. And now Ken was just a flurry of punches at Sephiroth, and he tried to go for a kick there, but Sephiroth reversed it into a clothesline. And now Sephiroth off the headlock whips Ken in the corner. Clothesline knocking him down. And now Ken with a go behind on Sephiroth. Whoops Sephiroth into a neck breaker. A drop kick by Ken there, sorry. And Sephiroth blocking that kick again. Belly to back suplex. And now Ken with a springboard reverse elbow drop to Sephiroth. Elbow strike, whatever the hell it's called. And Ken with a leg drop. And Sephiroth with a rake to the eyes of Ken. And Ken with a power slam to Sephiroth. He was like, bitch, you might have raked my eyes, but I ain't letting you get hit me with anything. I can still see you. And Sephiroth getting whipped in the corner by Ken, and a chop block to Sephiroth by Ken. And Ken with a Russian leg sweep to Sephiroth. Springboard by Ken, and Sephiroth moves out of the way. And Sephiroth with picking Ken back up. And there's a pair of punches to Ken there, and an armbar. And a headbutt to the shoulder of Ken by Sephiroth. And a Sephiroth with a go behind on Ken. Suplex by Sephiroth again. And now Sephiroth just a flurry of punches there, and now they're just trading punch blocks. And Sephiroth a headlock, and Ken whips Sephiroth in the corner. Forearm in the face of Sephiroth, knocking him down. And Sephiroth blocking that punch there, and headlock again. And Ken sends Sephiroth to the outside. And Ken just knocking Sephiroth off the apron, launching him to the outside of the ring. Now Ken going after Sephiroth, who just nailed him with a bulldog. And Ken with another power slam to Sephiroth. And Sephiroth just a poke to the eyes of Ken. He might be a good guy in this case, but Sephiroth is still gonna do heel shit. Because, you know, Final Fantasy going. And DDT to Ken on the apron. The apron, the floor there. Almost on the ramp. And Colin have a tie between the two outside the ring. And they heard the ref count to 5, and they were like, yep, time to book it back in the ring. And Sephiroth just went for a jog around the ring before he kicked Ken in the midsection. And Ken with an arm behind Sephiroth, and a drop kick by Ken. And Ken with a DDT to Sephiroth. And Ken with an elbow drop to Sephiroth as well. And Sephiroth with a punch to the face of Ken there, and an armbar into a headlock. And Sephiroth whipping Ken in the corner. Just back body drop to Ken. And Ken just punching Sephiroth in the midsection there. DDT again by Sephiroth. And Sephiroth with a pair of elbows and a flurry of elbows to the shoulders of Ken there, sorry. And Ken blocking that punch there, and Sephiroth blocks that one. In the headlock again. Neckbreaker by Sephiroth to Ken. And there's more elbows to the shoulders of Ken there. Sephiroth to go behind on Ken. And a shot to the lower back. And a headlock. And another elbow to the face. And a headlock by Sephiroth there. And Ken getting nailed with a headlock. I mean, a freaking neckbreaker by Sephiroth. And now there's more elbow strikes to the shoulders of Ken by Sephiroth. And now Sephiroth has Ken up for a freaking powerbomb! And now drags him from the ropes. And Sephiroth going for a cover. Only a one count freaking on Ken by Sephiroth there. Kick to midsection. And now Ken with a go behind on Sephiroth. Into a suplex. And Ken with a leg drop to Sephiroth again. And now Ken with another neckbreaker to Sephiroth there. And another freaking elbow hit to the head of Sephiroth. And Ken with a forearm to the face of Sephiroth there, just knocking him down. And another leg drop for good measure. And now Sephiroth getting dragged away from him by Ken. And a leg drop by Ken. And an elbow drop. And just freaking fist straight to the dome of Sephiroth there by Ken. Only a one count after all that. Go behind by Ken. And Ken with a suplex to Sephiroth again. DDT by Sephiroth to Ken. And now Sephiroth going for the one-winged angel! And now Sephiroth drags Ken away from the ropes. Going for a cover, Sephiroth. 1, 2, and Ken kicked out after getting hit with a one-winged angel. And now Sephiroth is livid, and he just whips Ken in the corner. And now going for an armbar on Ken. And now Sephiroth with a freaking sidewalk slam to Ken. And now Ken just shoving Sephiroth off, and just a punch to the face of Sephiroth. And a Hadouken super kick to Sephiroth by Ken. Double cover is Ken Masters. Only a one count. What the f... And now Ken with more punches and a kick to midsection of Sephiroth there. And another back body drop. And Ken with a punch to the midsection of Sephiroth. And an armbar by Ken. Neckbreaker by Ken and Sephiroth. And Sephiroth raking the eyes of Ken again, whiffing that kick. DDT by Ken to Sephiroth. Kick the midsection of Ken by Sephiroth in the headlock. And Sephiroth whipping Ken in the corner. Kick the midsection. And now just grinding his knee against his face. And Ken just punches him off. Back body drop by Ken. By Sephiroth to Ken. Almost launching him out of the ring. And now Ken's back up. He's pissed. And Ken with another DDT. And now Ken with an atomic drop to Sephiroth. And now picking him back up is Ken. Knee to the midsection of Ken by Sephiroth. Knee to the midsection of Sephiroth by Ken. Clothesline by Ken. And another one knocking him down. Heel kick by Ken, knocking down Sephiroth. And now Sephiroth is back up. And now Sephiroth Ken punches in a headlock to Ken. Whips him in the corner. And he's just looking at Ken. Sephiroth is just looking at Ken while he's just sitting there in the corner. And Sephiroth sends Ken back in the corner again. Running splash there by Sephiroth to Ken. Hoists him up. Snake eyes to Ken by Sephiroth. Off the ropes. A big boot by Sephiroth. and a leg drop. And now Sephiroth going for another freaking powerbomb with this Ken by Sephiroth. And now Sephiroth going for cover on Ken. 1, 2, and Ken kicked out again. Kicked the midsection of Ken by Sephiroth. And he won't kick out of this, I'm sure. And another one-winged angel Ken. And Sephiroth dragging Ken from the ropes. Going for cover is Sephiroth. 1, 2, and Sephiroth retains the title. Freaking Christ. Ken fought like a warrior, and so did Sephiroth, and these two freaking threw everything they could at each other, and Sephiroth still managed to get the win over Ken and retain his title with the one-winged angel. Jesus Christ, this freaking match was epic as all hell, worth the wait for the entire night. And now Sephiroth will go in the final hunt. Have to wait and see who's going to freaking challenge him in the main event. Freaking, what a champion, I'm telling you, man. I wish anybody like trying to take that belt from him. Freaking Sephiroth proving his worth from why he's going to be probably a really dominant champion. That's for sure. And look at this freaking between these two guys. Sephiroth is going over Ken after Ken just got back up after Sephiroth was celebrating. And now these two are having a handshake, having mutual respect for one another after the match they just had. What a way to end this show. And if you guys watching this like this video, leave a like, comment, all that stuff. I'll see you freaking for the final episode of New Gen before Final Hunt. Peace!